ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतो सेवया भगवती उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति। हरे कृष्णा। So we will read
Hare
from
Krishna Prabhu.
Srimad
Yeah.
Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 7th chapter, 10th verse. Yad arthena vinamushya Umsha atma vipariya Pratiyeta upadrashto Swasiraschedanadika Swasiraschedanadika Yadarthena vinamushya Pumsa atma vipariya Pratiyeta upadrashto Pratiyeta upadrastu Swasiraschedanadika Yadarthena vinamushya Pumsa atma vipariya Pratiyeta upadrashto Swasiraschedanadika Word by word translation. Yet, thus, Arthena, a purpose or meaning. Dina, without. Amushya, of such a one. Pumsha, of the living entity. Atma, Viparya, upset about self-identification. Pratiyate, so appear. Upadrashtu, of the superficial onlookers. Swasira, own head. Chedana, adhika, cutting off. Translation. The living entity is in distress regarding his self-identity. He has no factual background. Like a man who dreams that he sees his head cut off. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A teacher in school once threatened his pupil that he would cut off the pupil's head and hang it on the wall so that the child could see how his head had been cut off. The child became frightened and stopped his mischief. Similarly, the miseries of the pure soul and the disruption of his self-identification are managed by the external energy of the Lord, which controls those mischievous living entities who want to go against the will of the Lord. Actually, there is no bondage or misery for the living entity, nor does he ever lose his pure conscious knowledge. In his pure consciousness, when he thinks a little seriously about his position, he can understand that he is eternally subordinate to the mercy of the Supreme, and that his attempt to become one with the Supreme Lord is just a false illusion. Life after life, the living entity falsely tries to lord it over material nature and become the lord of the material world. But there has been no tangible result. At last, when frustrated, he gives up his material activities and tries to become one with the Lord, and speculates with much jugglery of words, but without success. These activities are performed under the dictation of the illusory energy. The experience is compared to the experience of one's having his head cut off in a dream. The man whose head has been cut off also sees his head has been cut off. If a person's head is severed, he loses his power to see. Therefore, if a man sees that his head has been cut off, it means he thinks like that in his hallucination. Similarly, a living entity is eternally subordinate to the Supreme Lord, and he has this knowledge with him, but artificial. He thinks that he is God himself, and that although he is God, he has lost his knowledge due to mind. This conception has no meaning, just as there is no meaning to seeing one's head being cut off. This is the process by which knowledge is covered. And because this artificial rebellious condition of the living entity gives him all the troubles, it is to be understood that he should take to his normal life. Hare Krishna. He should take to his normal life as a devotee of the Lord and be relieved from the misconception of being God. The so-called liberation of thinking oneself God is the last reaction of avidya, by which the living entity is entrapped. The conclusion is that a living entity deprived of eternal transcendental service to the Lord becomes illusioned in many ways. Even in his conditional life, he is the eternal servant of the Lord. His servitude under the spell of illusory Maya is also a manifestation of his eternal condition of service. Because he has rebelled against the service of the Lord, he is therefore put in service of Maya. He is still serving, but in a priority. When he wants to get out of service under material bondage, he next desires to become one with the Lord. This is another illusion. The best course, therefore, is to surrender unto the Lord and thus get rid of the illusory Maya for good. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 14. Devi hi esha gunamayi mama maya durattaya mameva ye prapadyante mametam tarantite. So what is the translation of this verse? This divine energy of mine consists of the three modes of material nature. It is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Let's do the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishobhanustute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Nilachala Nipyasaya Nityaya Paramatmani Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhuva evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam bangum langayati girim yatpipatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam. Hare Krishna. Most of the cameras are turned off, so I cannot see any of you. But anyways, I can see some of you. So, this particular verse, very beautifully, it is telling us our mental condition. It is telling us what we are like in reality. We are under stupid Maya's illusion. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay. So this verse is telling us how stupid we are. It's telling us the stupidity with which we are living our everyday life. Srila Prabhupada is telling us we are fortunate, unfortunate, most unfortunate. Right? Most fortunate, fortunate, unfortunate, most unfortunate. Right? So who is fortunate? Somebody who has got Krishna consciousness. Is a fortunate side. Somebody who has received Krishna consciousness and accepted it in his life and made the journey ahead, the most fortunate person. Right? Somebody who has not got Krishna consciousness, never got an opportunity to meet devotees, never found any opportunity to come in contact with any devotee, any Krishna consciousness, any Sankirtan, any Prasadam, nothing. That person is unfortunate. That living soul is unfortunate. He has never got an opportunity to come in Krishna consciousness. He is unfortunate. But somebody who has come into Krishna consciousness and then for some reason left everything and went back to serving his own sense gratifications, his own indriyas, his own sensory organs, serving Maya, left Krishna consciousness. That is the most unfortunate state. Right? So this is how these four words have been classified by Srila Prabhupada. Fortunate, most fortunate, unfortunate, most unfortunate. And for all of us who are practicing devotees, many of you are here who may be very senior devotees and you're practicing for many, many years. So you might be already in a pure devotional stage, but I'm speaking for myself. Many of us, many like me, at least for myself, I can say. I'm hearing Krishna consciousness from so many different people. I stay in Mayapur. I see so many devotees. I hear Bhagavatam. I take darshan of the beautiful deities every day. Even after all of this, I'm not able to overcome the effect of Maya in my life. I'm still just struggling to practice, stay on, control my emotions, control my anger, control my sadness, distress, depression, different emotions. Right? So all these emotions are coming from our sense of aham, because we are still operating on a material platform. We know that Krishna is supreme, right? Srila Prabhupada used to give people initiation if they can give this answer. Who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Somebody will answer, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Good. You qualify for getting initiation. First initiation for you. It's so easy to get first initiation then. Huh? We all know Krishna is God. We all know Radharani is serving Krishna. So philosophically, we may not be supreme Pandits, But philosophically, we are in knowledge. That information is there in our brain, in our database, right? In our hardware. Right? The information is there. But that exists only as information. It has not yet become a part and parcel of our life. It has not become a lifestyle. For many of us, Krishna consciousness lifestyle is wearing dhoti, wearing tilak, eating vegetarian food. Of course, offered to Krishna after offering, that is a very important part. But we are doing everything very, very mechanically. If we are asked questions, why you are doing this, we know the answer. We can very easily give answer. Somebody asks a question, hey, why you put tilak on your head? Tak, 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 tilak is Vishnu's. This is Tulsi, so this represents our sampradaya, this, tak, tak, tak. All answers we can give, right? Because the information is there in my database. But even after understanding so many instructions on this matter, we are still attached to Maya. Right? In fact, there is one of the offenses, right? Which is the holy name, offenses against the holy name. The 10th offense, what does it say? To not have complete faith in chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions in this matter, right? Almost all of us can, rattle out from our mouth these 10 offenses of the holy name, right? Because we have been in ISKCON in connection with devotees and Krishna consciousness for such a long time that we can actually rattle out these 10 offenses, right? But in reality, has this 10th offense become a part and parcel of our lives? I mean, it has become a part and parcel of our lives, sorry. We have not been able to overcome this 10th offense. So unknowingly, we may be, I'm using the word may over here, we may be committing this 10th offense to the holy name. And in Nectar of Devotion, in chapter number 8, where these 10 offenses are mentioned, just before these 10 offenses are mentioned, you will find paragraph, just before this paragraph, it is saying, if one becomes an offender to the holy names of the Lord, there is no chance of becoming delivered. Again, in this chapter, somewhere it is mentioned that, if you commit an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord, you may be delivered. But if you commit offense at the lotus feet of the holy names, there is no opportunity to be delivered. We are all Bhakti Shastris, preachers, big designations. All these things we are. But these simple things, we are not able to grasp and do. There is this discussion between me and a friend of mine. We were just, we met after a long time and we were just discussing different things about bhakti and our devotional lives and things like that. So he was telling me that, and we were discussing, is bhakti very easy or is it very complicated? Is devotional life very easy or is it very complicated? And the answer is, this is the answer that I gave him. We were discussing, he had his points, I had my points. He's a scholar, so he reads a lot of books. He reads Goswami texts, he reads Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books, he reads Saraswati Thakur's articles. And he's of course read Srila Prabhupada a lot. He hears from different scholars and things like that. So for somebody who wants bhakti to be very complicated, bhakti can be very complicated. You can read this book, you can read that book. All the Goswamis have written so many books. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written so many things. Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada has written so many articles. Srila Prabhupada has given us his books, which are published by DVT. Then we have the Back to Godhead articles of Srila Prabhupada. Then we have Srila Prabhupada's articles before he became a sannyasi and he was writing articles for Gauriya Math. Right? And then we have articles written by his god brothers. Then we have books written by his god brothers. Right? So within the Saraswat Gauriya Parivar, that is Gauriya Math and ISKCON, if you start looking at books, and you want to gather all these books and get all the essence of devotional life and bhakti, life can be really seriously complicated, right? Life can become very, very complicated for us. I wonder, if we ask devotees that, to become simply initiated, you will have to finish reading all the books written by all our acharyas, then only you will get first initiation. Then only we will consider you that you have the complete knowledge of Krishna consciousness. All books written by all acharyas, starting from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Prabhupada, all the acharyas have written books. You have to read all their books. You have to understand all their thought processes. Then only I will consider you fit to join my sampradaya, my bona fide lineage. I wonder how many of us would actually become Krishna conscious devotees. We'll all say, no, thank you. I'll come for Sunday feast, little bit of Harinam, little bit of Khichdi Prasadam, bye-bye. I don't need anything more than that. Right? But it is a fact that all these books, all these Shastras written by our acharyas is an important work. Right? They're important works. They should be studied, they should be learned. If we read them, we will get more perspective about bhakti. So from that angle, bhakti can be very, very complicated. On the other hand, bhakti can be very simple. In Nectar of Devotion, it is written, what is the definition of bhakti? Somebody who is completely surrendering himself and who understands whether he is, what is his constitutional position, right? Somebody who has knowledge of Atma and Paramatma, Brahma and Param Brahma, or the absolute truth, right? Any living entity who has understood that my life is meant to love Krishna and serve Krishna. Any living entity who has understood this one sentence, this one small sentence, his life is perfected. Right? This is what Nectar of Devotion is telling us. So if you buy Nectar of Devotion from any ISKCON center and you can rattle up this one line and you try to live your whole life as per this one sentence, that my life is meant to serve Krishna through my Guru Maharaj, of course, or through my temple authorities or whatever, through a bona fide line. It cannot be something I do in my own home. Then it will not be bhakti. Nectar of Devotion is also telling that to us. If we can simply follow this one instruction, that we have to live our lives loving Krishna, serving Krishna under the guidance of my Guru Maharaj, my temple authorities, my counselor, or my authorities or senior, whatever terminology we want to use, because we are ISKCON, so we have very different management terms have come in. right? Whatever terminologies we want to use, we can use. But the basic point remains same. We have to love Krishna, serve Krishna under guidance of our seniors or our authorities, right? If we simply do this, our life is perfected. If we simply do this, our life is perfected, right? Is this simple to do? The answer again is yes and no. Why is it no? Because we are not able to do it. We are not able to do it, right? Even after Srila Prabhupada telling us in so many ways, our Guru Maharaj is instructing us in so many ways. Our seniors, our counselors, our senior devotees are instructing us in so many ways, but we are still not able to do. Because it is difficult to do. That is why we are not able to do, right? But it is again simple to do. Why? Because we do exactly that in the place where we work, right? In the place where we work, we do exactly that. So most of you devotees, you are from Africa. So all of you are aware of how, African people have been exploited for centuries by the white men, right? They used to take them away to America to work in plantations as slaves, right? We know of this dark side of human history, mankind's history, right? We cannot rub off this history from our lives, right? A lot of Indians were also taken to countries like Trinidad and Tobago and South Africa and things like that, to work as slaves in sugarcane plantations. So when somebody is taken away as a slave and put in a sugarcane farm, that person, for generations, those families have worked in those plantations, right? Serving one master, right? Or one master's family for generations. The slaves' generations have also gone, the master's generations have also gone, right? No questions asked. Whatever the masters say, I will do. So some slaves' work was to, only water the fields. Some male slaves' work was to only create more black children so that they can be born as slaves inside the plantations. We know of this history. There were certain slaves whose work was to only beget black children who would be born in captivity as slaves and serve their masters. And the best slave was the person who served his master without saying a word. Those slaves who tried to run away, they would be shot down dead, right? They would be beaten very badly. They would be exploited very badly, right? We know of these histories. So we know of the history of how slavery has exploited human beings. Even then, human beings have wanted to become slaves. Human beings have rebelled against being free slaves to become salaried slaves. What is the definition of freedom for human beings? We have all become free. Human beings have rebelled against their slave masters. And then they became what? They became salaried slaves, right? They will work for companies. They will work for masters. They will get a salary. That is the definition of freedom for them, right? That is what freedom has become. Do you agree? This is how freedom has been defined. They are still working as plantation workers because their skill is to grow sugarcane, right? Earlier they used to do it for free. Now they are selling the skill for a sum of money, right? Some people are selling some other skill for a sum of money, right? If you extrapolate it into, jobs, then people are doing jobs, they are wearing shirt, pant, suit and collar and everything, going into big offices, and they're working like slaves. Whatever the company and the boss says, that is the right thing, right? So you're becoming a slavery to your salary. So slavery has not been abolished. The nature of the slavery has changed, right? Because for a Jivatma, it is the most natural thing for a Jivatma to be a slave. For a living entity, it is very natural thing to be a slave, to offer services, to serve somebody. That is the natural position of a living entity, whether or not we like it. Okay? That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport over here. Right? So the living entity can either be a slave and serve Maya, or the living entity can be a servant of Krishna. As long as he is serving Maya, he will find too much of pain and misery. Right? Most of the people who are earning big bucks, how do they spend their money? By drinking, by sense gratifications, right? You have big money, you spend it out by sense gratification. Those of you who have been to America, you've heard about Las Vegas, right? Las Vegas is the sense gratification capital of the world, right? It's the sense gratification capital of the world. So freedom is, what does freedom mean? Freedom means you go and you become a slave of Maya in Las Vegas. That is the definition of success. Somebody who can become very rich and spend a lot of money in Las Vegas is considered a very successful person, or in his mind he's a very successful man, right? This is how unfortunate it is. Just as I was saying right now, there were certain slaves whose only work in their master's farm was to beget more and more children, because black men in their master's mind would beget strong, powerful, sturdy children who can become better slaves, right? So that man's only work was to beget more and more children. Women would be brought to him and he would beget more children. He would make he copulate with them and he'll beget more children. So for some stupid people, they will think, what a job he had, man. For some stupid people, they'll be like, what a job this guy had. He had no work to do. His only work was to, unite with women and copulate with women, right? But in reality, we know how difficult his life was. There are certain autobiography of one man, who got freedom from his slavery later, who had this kind of a job in South America, not South America, down south of America. He later wrote an autobiography, and he wrote about how difficult his life was in slavery. But his only work was to make love. So his life was not also a happy life. His life was also a bad life. That means sense gratification is not making him happy, right? Sense gratification is not making him happy. But here people are now defining success and happiness with spending money and doing same sense gratification sitting in Las Vegas. Right? They will do the same thing. And then they will think in their mind that, oh, I am such a free man, I am a successful man. So what is this? Just stupidity. This is Maya. This is illusory energy of Krishna. Right? This is just Maya. Nothing more than that. That is what Srila Prabhupada is telling us. Mama Maya Duratta. The Prabhupada is telling us that what a stupid person we are. We are like somebody who is in hallucination. He's using the word hallucination in this purport. Men are hallucinating about success. Hallucination is something that does not exist. So the only way to be happy is to serve Krishna. The only way to be happy, to be really free, is to understand what is my relationship with Krishna. Who am I and who is Krishna? Who am I and what is my purpose in life? Right? Who am I? I am Atma. What is my purpose in life? My purpose in life is to serve Krishna. Somebody who has understand this small thing, his life is perfected and he's always happy. Right? That is the simple mantra of success. That is the simple mantra of happiness. If you read Nectar of Devotion, we will find that in Nectar of Devotion multiple times it is said that any human being, any living entity who has known Krishna is free of all fears. So somebody who does not have any fear in his life is truly experiencing freedom, isn't it? What is true freedom? When you are free from every fear in your life, right? That is truly freedom, right? If you are experiencing fear, if you are always in fear, then you are not experiencing freedom. To experience freedom, you have to be truly fearless. And who is truly fearless? Only the Krishna conscious devotee is truly fearless. Nobody else is truly fearless. We learn that from Nectar of Devotion, from Srila Prabhupada's books. So that is why my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakticharya Swami Guru Maharaj, used to always emphasize on the fact that Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. If we simply read Srila Prabhupada's books, then we will have read or at least understood the nectar of all the books of all our acharyas. Because the research of all our acharyas, Sridhar Swami's commentary, Govinda's Bhashya, this commentary, Padma Puran, Skanda Puran, etc., this, that, all these things Srila Prabhupada has done for you and me. And he has given it in his purpose and in his books. So whatever we need, it is there in Srila Prabhupada's books. If we simply read Srila Prabhupada's books and we try to live only as per Srila Prabhupada's instruction, we are philosophically covered and we are safe. We just need to take shelter of Srila Prabhupada and his books. That is why my Guru Maharaj used to always insist. Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. Just read Prabhupada's books. Just hear Prabhupada's lectures. That's all. You don't need anything else. Is anybody who reads Prabhupada's book, who hears Prabhupada's lectures, he knows very easily how to be a good devotee, how to be a devotee actually, how to be a devotee, how to be fearless, how to serve Krishna, how to serve our seniors, how to serve Vaishnavas. What is important, whether to serve Krishna or to serve a Vaishnava? Which is more important? All these things Srila Prabhupada has given us in his books. We just need to read these books. If we don't read his books, then our philosophical base is always, dicey. Because otherwise we have only heard something here, something there, saw some YouTube video somewhere, and now thanks to YouTube, we will hear different things from different other sampradayas, right? Other lines, other sannyasis, and we will get all confused, right? Because my own foundation is not strong, and I am trying to take more load. Which bridge will not collapse if its foundation is not strong? Any bridge will collapse, right? If the foundation is not strong. So my condition is like that. I don't have a strong foundation, but I want to take more and more load on me. So I will switch on YouTube one full day, see different lectures by different other people, you know, all sorts of philosophical schools of thoughts, you know. They will come, they will give lectures. I will hear all the lectures because they are all good devotees in their own lines and in their own philosophical schools. And by the end of the day, I will become confused. I'll become confused. I will leave Krishna consciousness, and then what will I become? The most unfortunate person. Somebody who has got Krishna consciousness and then left Krishna consciousness. Right? So that is the easy route to becoming unfortunate. You should write a book. Easy journey to unfortunate life. Switch on YouTube, hear all the lectures that you can hear from all the different sampradayas. In 24 hours, you will become the most unfortunate person in this planet. Right? Easy journey to becoming unfortunate. We have to always guard against this small thing that we always want to be the most fortunate person. And in our attempt to become the most fortunate person, unknowingly we should not slip into become the most unfortunate person. Right? And the only way to do that is to take complete shelter of Srila Prabhupada, his books, our Guru Maharaj, and our authorities. Nastibhya, nastibhya, nastibhya gatiranyatha. No other way, no other way, no other way. This is the only way, only way, only way. Hare Krishna. With that, I finish today's lecture. I will open myself up to questions. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing this wisdom with us today. Devotees, if anyone will have questions, comments, realizations, reflections, you may want to ask or share. Please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and if you ask to unmute to ask your question or share your reflection. Hare Krishna. Well, Prabhuji, I have this question. You were talking about some of us who are fortunate enough to have come across this knowledge and to come to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. My question is about good fortune. If there are no accidents in the Lord's creation, if nothing happens by chance, then what is the meaning of good fortune? What is the meaning of somebody having the good fortune to become a devotee and someone not having the good fortune to become a devotee? if you may shed some light on this.
Actually, sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat again?
Yeah, the question is, we're talking about good fortune.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, if everything is planned, if everything is according to the Lord's plan, which means that the Lord has planned that some things happen in a particular person's life. And since God is not partial, he does not love me more than he loves Mr. A. And he does not love Mr. B more than he loves me. So how is it that some of us have the good fortune to become devotees of the Lord, and there are others who are not fortunate enough to become devotees of the Lord?
All right. The answer is in Nectar of Devotion. Very simple theoretical answer. We come to devotional life because of our past life sukriti, not karma. Past life sukriti, not karma. Okay. Good karmic points do not make us devotees because we have devotional credits, which in the Sanskrit the term is sukriti. So that is why we are born into with devotional favors. That is one. Second thing, any jiva can get the opportunity to become a devotee by the mercy of a devotee only. Okay. So a jiva can get into devotional life either due to his past life sukriti, devotional credits, which he has carried forward from his past life, or in this life he has got mercy or blessings of a Vaishnava or a devotee, which he may not be aware of. It is not a very physical process that, you walk up to a Vaishnava and the Vaishnava actually gives you an Ashirwad with this mudra. Okay. You may have pleased a devotee, unknowingly. Maybe you were like, maybe you just wanted to feed poor people and you were doing food distribution, not prasadam distribution. Maybe you were just doing food distribution. And that day, maybe just a Vaishnava, he may have got hungry and he may have ate that food, and, I mean, maybe he ate after 1 month, he ate that food and he was so happy that he blessed you in his heart. Krishna is happy in your heart, in his mind, and your devotional credit life starts. Okay. So we become devotees either of these two ways, either by Vaishnava's mercy or because of my past life sukriti. Okay. Not karma. This is very important. Not karma. Okay. First thing. Second thing. Why are some people unfortunate? Right? Not unfortunate. I mean, why people don't get the fortune of coming into Krishna consciousness? Well, Krishna does not plan our lives as like a project manager sits with his project and plans every day. Okay? Krishna has set up this whole karmic cycle and this whole mathematical calculation of how the universe will function. Okay? That whole system has been set up. How this whole system will work. Brahma is the primary engineer of it, or the architect of it. Vishwakarma is the engineer who is building structures, right? So like this whole corporation has been set up. Like companies are set up, this whole corporation has been set up and policies have been defined. So this material world is a very policy-driven organization. Okay? So if you are not a devotee, if you are not the, what do you call it? You're not the chairman's favorite person, then all the company policies work with you. Krishna is very, very partial like this. He's not impartial. Krishna is very partial. Krishna is very partial towards his devotees. If you are Krishna's man, many things Krishna will just take away, Krishna, out of his mercy, you might have to, for some karmic reaction, you may have to die. Krishna will say, okay, just throw him from the stairs, let him be on the bed for 1 month. Break his knee, that is finished. That way, Krishna is very partial towards his devotees. But for everybody else, it is a policy-driven organization. The policy is the rule of karma. How that policy works, only Krishna knows, Brahma knows. Even Brahma doesn't know actually. Only Krishna knows. And Yamaraja knows, Chitragupta knows. When we die, we might know little how our karmic account is building up. So that is why Krishna is impartial, because Krishna has defined the policies. So his planning in our lives is as far as he has made the policies of karma. If you are Krishna's man, Krishna will personally intervene. If you are not Krishna's man, you will be governed by the rules of policy, rules of karma. Okay? So that is the answer.
Well, Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. But the other problem is the 11th entity, who is pure by nature because he is part and parcel of Krishna. How does this pure soul become covered by the Lord's external energy? Of course, we've heard from Krishna himself that this external energy is not different from him, and it's very difficult to overcome. But if the living entity is also part and parcel of Krishna, how does the living entity then become overpowered by the illusory energy and forget about his real identity and fail or refuse to serve the Lord?
So, we all know about the fall down theory, right? We all know about the fall down theory. And then there are controversies about the fall down theory within Islam. There's the great fall down theory controversy.
Yeah.
But I look at it this way. Whatever Srila Prabhupada has said, I will not question it. Because I have fallen down, I have come here. I have to go back. I don't need to bother about how I fell down. What is more important is how I go back. If I start engaging my mind into trying to understand which side of the fall down conspiracy is correct, then I will only be concentrating on falling down. I will not be concentrating on going up. Right? So in my nature, I always would like to read what Srila Prabhupada has said in his books, where he says that he has got independence, therefore there is a possibility where he envies Krishna and he wants to enjoy like Krishna. So Krishna gives him the freedom to enjoy in the material world. And he's falling down. This is the gist of it. This is how he says it in the gist of it. Right? So I will go by what Srila Prabhupada has said. I will stick with what Srila Prabhupada has said.
Well, thank you. But this
there is a huge controversy about it. I know.
Yeah.
There are big books about it.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is that, as a devotee, like I said, we can complicate our lives as much as we want, right?
But we just want to go back.
We just want to go back.
Yeah.
So let's just go back,
Yeah. Well, Krishna is Krishna. What can we do?
I think Govinda Prabhu is driving
Yeah, Governor Prabhu, do you have something to ask? Please, you may unmute.
I see him driving all the time.
Always.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Shri.
My respectful obeisances to you.
I will say such a-
My obeisances to the Vaishnavas. And thank you very much. It's a very wonderful, very instructive presentation. But I would like you to clarify this point of a devotee, one become a devotee, in your explanation to Sadhu Prabhu's question, how one becomes devotee. And I hear you saying that we do not become devotees because of our karma, but it's we become devotees because of Sukriti. So I would like you to throw more light in that. My understanding is that Sukriti means unknowing pious activity. You may
No, it's not pious activity. Sukriti is not pious activity. Actually. It's not pious. The word pious is a very different word.
okay. So then, what is Sukriti?
See, from Nectar of Devotion, we find these 2 points. Okay, how a devotional life starts? It starts either with your past life Sukriti or with a devotee blessing you in this life. These are the 2 ways a devotional life starts. This is what Nectar of Devotion is telling us. Okay, my understanding is that in this life, suppose I get blessings of a Vaishnava, so that becomes my Sukriti. Okay, with that Sukriti, I can do some devotional activities, or that Sukriti just stays with me. I don't do any devotional activities anymore, but it just stays with me. Okay, so in my next life, when I am born, this Sukriti I carry forward. This Sukriti I carry forward. And with this Sukriti, I get some opportunity to increase my Sukriti. I increase my Sukriti because I get favorable conditions for devotional life in my next life. Okay. So my understanding is devotional life starts always with blessings of Vaishnavas and seniors. If it is in this life, then it is a Sukriti I have got in this life. If it is my past lives, then it is a Sukriti that I have carried forward from my past life, but it started with blessings of Vaishnavas in somewhere in my past life.
All right. Yeah, but still, some act has to be performed in order for one to get that Sukriti. There should be some act.
Yes.
And the reaction is what we call the Sukriti.
Actually, no.
We carry the reaction.
No, Prabhu, there doesn't always have to be a actively act. Like we say active devotional service. No, that is when we are actively engaging ourselves into bhakti. That's when active devotional service comes in. But Sukriti is apratihata ahaituki. Apratihata ahaituki means unmotivated, unintentional. Okay, unmotivated, unintentional. Apratihata ahaituki. These are the 2 words that active devotion uses. Okay, I mean Rupa Goswami uses. So this Sukriti does not necessarily always have to be an active devotional activity from my side. It can be anything. It can be like I told Sahadev Prabhu. Maybe, I was just feeding hungry people because I wanted to, feel that I'm a rich man. I want to feed hungry people, And in that action, some Vaishnava got to eat after 1 month of hunger. And he blessed me in his heart. That can be Sukriti. Again, suppose, unknowingly, I am walking past an ISKCON temple. I hear nice kirtan. And I hear that they're giving free food. On Sunday afternoon, I walk in, I eat that food. I appreciate the food that they're eating, that they're distributing. And, I appreciate their philanthropy and their work, the good work that they're doing in the society. I just appreciate it and I say thank you for the good work and this and that, and I walk away. Okay. Or maybe because I want to feel rich and I want to feel that I am a big donor, I give some money as donation as well. You know, any action, anything which makes another devotee happy, if another devotee is happy by my action and I get his mercy, my devotional life starts. Like, for example, when we do Sankirtan, we do Sankirtan loudly. Why? Because every living entity who cannot sing, or who cannot sing, who cannot chant, they will hear the katha, they will hear the holy names, and their devotional life will start. So their unknowing hearing is giving them the devotional credit, that's Sukriti. Right? So that is how actually this Sukriti thing works. And this is not pious activities. This is not pious activity. In general, it is said that if somebody who is pious, who is altruistic, means who is a very helpful man, you know, who helps other people, who has a big heart, these kind of people will get Sukriti faster. Because they are more likely to, you know, make a devotee happy. But that's not like a specific rule. It's a general observation.
Mm. Okay, that part is clear. I will take it, to that understanding. But when you say, so what devotees activity? What is the term? What is the terminology given to a devotee's action? How do we call that? Do we call it karma or what? Because it said that we don't become devotees because of karma or because of previous activities. And a devotee, we understand that, like Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita about the unsuccessful yogis.
No,
They
actually,
might have acted in Krishna consciousness, but they were unsuccessful. Activity has been performed devotionally, but they were unsuccessful. And the understanding is that activity, it can be spiritual activity or material activity. So if it is spiritual activity or material activity, are both not the same karma or the same activity, but the difference is one is spiritual and one is material. And if you take the word karma out of it, what is the terminology putting in between those two activities?
Okay. All right. Actually, you don't put a terminology in between. It is the way we look at the word. Okay. Same activity can be devotional service or it can be karma. Same activity. No difference. Same place, same activity, same results, everything. The difference is who is enjoying the fruit of that labor. Okay. For example, I am cooking in my home every day. And I'm eating lunch, breakfast, dinner. So every day, it is my karma. It is my activity. Okay? It is my activity, it is my karma. I am going to office, earning salary, taking care of my family, it is my karma. It is my duty, it is my social responsibility. Okay? The day I become a devotee, same things, breakfast, lunch, dinner is being cooked in my house so that the family members can eat. But the food is now cooked for the deities in the house. And the prasadam is now accepted by the family members. So there is no activity change. Activity remains same. But karma has now become devotional service. I was earning salaries for so many years to take care of my family. Now I am earning the same salary, same job, same way to take care of deities in my house, to do some prasadam distribution, to run a Bhagavatam class in my house, to do some preaching activities with that same salary. So same karma now has become a spiritual work, a spiritual active devotional service. So what I say this to everybody, and there are some people who are, they attend my classes, they're also joining these classes. So they will know this is a term I use them. So they have heard this term in my class many times. Dovetailing everything to Krishna consciousness. Dovetailing everything to Krishna consciousness. So Govinda Prabhu, when you are driving your steering, you have to steer everything towards Krishna consciousness. Dovetailing means steering towards Krishna consciousness. Simply by dovetailing everything into Krishna consciousness, our simple mundane karma becomes active devotional service. And this is how easy devotional service is. We just have to bring Krishna into the equation. If Krishna is not in the equation, it becomes karma. If Krishna comes into the equation, it is devotional service. When I was earning salary and I was not into devotional life, every Saturday, Sunday, I am going to the pub and I am dancing. Now I am becoming a devotee, I am earning salary. Every Saturday, Sunday, I am going and dancing with devotees. So I am dancing only. Earlier also I was dancing, now also I am dancing. I am still enjoying my weekend. But because Krishna has come into that equation, same karma has become devotional service. I can murder a man and I will not get any karma for it. I can murder my family members, but I will not get any negative karma for it. Why? Because I am Arjuna and Krishna has asked me to murder my family in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So murdering his family has become the active devotional service.
All right. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare
Well,
Krishna.
thank you so much for this answer. So this very answer you gave, does that mean that like people who do these Krishna movies, are they creating karma for themselves, or they are performing devotional service because they accept Krishna, even though most of them, if not all of them, are not practicing devotees? Like I remember when I first watched the Krishna movie series, I used to think that the person acting as Lord Ram was actually Ramachandra himself. I was little, I used to think like that, because he performs this role so beautifully that you would think, actually, this is Lord Ram. And with this performance, he's been able to influence so many people to become Ram Bhaktas. So is that devotional service, or is just karma that they are creating that maybe sometime in the future that might help them, or it's actually devotional service in this present time?
If you ask me, my understanding from Nectar of Devotion and Bhagavad Gita is that this is not active devotional service. They might get some sukriti because some Vaishnavas will be happy, it will make Vaishnavas preaching more easy. So that way they might get some sukriti and some blessings of Vaishnavas. That is about all. There is a joke about this, I'll tell you. There is a joke. So there were two bus drivers. Govinda Prabhu, hear this joke. I don't know if you drive bus or truck, but hear this joke. So there were two bus drivers, okay? So one bus driver was a very pious man, Okay, he will not drink, and he will follow 4 regulative principles. Okay, but he was not a devotee of Krishna. He was a very pious man. He was a very simple guy, never rash driving, very nicely he would drive, very safe driver and this and that. And then there was one bus driver who will be a very rash driver, he'll be drinking, and anybody who would get on this bus would feel like, when I need to get down from the bus, because anytime the bus can have accident. So now both of them died in the same accident. Okay, there was a big accident in the city. Both these bus drivers died. Okay, now after the bus drivers died, so now they were taken back to heaven. Okay, I mean, they were taken back to Yamraja. So from Yamraja, Yamraja said, now this person, this bus driver, who was a pious man, he will have to go back to earth, to the material world. Okay, he's a pious man, so he'll get a nice birth, but he'll go back to earth. And the other person, Yamraj immediately gave him obeisances and took him back to the spiritual world. Okay, this is a joke, huh? Please don't take it very seriously. Please don't quote the Bhagavatam shlokas on this. This is just a joke. So the other person, Yamraja gave him obeisances and took him to the spiritual world. This pious man got very angry. He said, what? This is your Lord's judgment. This is how he takes care of his devotees. I have lived my life according to spiritual principles all my life, and I have to go back to the material world. I have to take birth again. And this man is now being taken with all honors to the spiritual world. So then Yamraj's assistant said, Are, you don't know, this man is the greatest guru on earth. Every time he will drive bus, everybody will be like, oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, like Ram, Ram, Ram. So he made sure everybody is always chanting through his action. So the way he, made people chant, nobody could do that. So there's a joke like this. Okay, Govinda Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Please choose wisely.
That was a good one. Okay, so
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
so we please Shubhavara Chaga Prabhu, please if you unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Actually, like Govinda Prabhu was saying, is there any other word? And while I was meditating on the word for the type of activities that bring people to devotional service besides karma, and then Prabhu, you just told this story. And I think the story, again, confirms what I wanted to say. I think the word is kripa.
Yes. Sukriti actually
people
comes
get
from
the
kripa.
mercy. Yes.
You are
People
right.
get mercy.
Sukriti
They attract the mercy by some, just like you said, sometimes you say Agata Sukriti. But the word that brings us, sometimes we may be highly qualified one way or the other, but we may not have the kripa. So the kripa is what the distinguishing, word.
No, so kripa, so Prabhu, the term for kripa, the English term for kripa is mercy. So I said apratihata ahaituki, mercy of Vaishnavas. So kripa is the mercy. Kripa is what the Vaishnavas give us. And what we accumulate from that kripa is sukriti. So we don't accumulate kripa. We accumulate sukriti, which is devotional credit.
Right.
Okay. So kripa for us, kripa is what Vaishnavas is giving us, and sukriti is what we are accumulating. So you are right. Without Vaishnavas kripa, that is what I'm saying. Without Vaishnavas kripa or mercy, devotional life cannot start.
Yep. Good one. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's been a very
So Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
yeah. Go ahead.
Like you just told a story, jokingly. I have that is all. That's all I always try to do. To always make people chant Hare Krishna. So many years ago, I used to have a van, and I purposely written Hare Krishna mantra on the van so that wherever it's passing, people will have the opportunity to chant.
Yeah.
They will try to read, what is this? And unknowingly, they will be chanting. And I also have a house in Ghana that I purposely put a sign, a rotated sign. It rotates Hare Krishna, Krishna's mercy, Hare Krishna, Krishna's mercy. So as it's rotating, people will be wondering, what is this? And then they will try to read. And by that way, they will be chanting. So the driver who is, and I have a van right now moving in Ghana, and I'm putting this Hare Krishna mantra on the van, here and there, so that people may chant. So the driver who is carrying this van around and is helping people to chant this mantra, is there any credit for this driver who is carrying the mantra around and helping people to chant?
You will always get some credit. You will always get some credit. See, Krishna does not forget the service that we give him. Krishna doesn't forget the service that we give. You will always get some credit to Krishna. See, Krishna is also very, very eager to meet his devotees in the spiritual world. Right? So if there is the slightest opportunity of, taking somebody back to Krishna, back to Golok Vrindavan, Krishna will use that opportunity. He is also very merciful.
Yeah.
Especially we are in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extra merciful.
Well, thank you so much. It's very interesting how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spreads his mercy. Most of us,
a van declaring Hare Krishna going around in Ghana. And this is exactly what Mahaprabhu has predicted, right? Every town village.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji, and assembled Vaishnava devotees. Those who may be new to this platform today, probably it's your first time being here. Hare Krishna Africa welcomes you very well and very much. And we appreciate your association, and we hope to have your association more and more in the near future. We meet here every day, Monday through Friday, every week, every month, and hopefully every year till we drop our bodies. So you're very much welcome. And Shri ARADHYA BHAGAVAN Prabhu, thank you so much for sharing this depth of wisdom with us all. And I'm sure you know that most of us were beloved Siksha disciples of your Gurudev, His Holiness Bhakti Chandra Swami Maharaj. He loved us so much. He cared for us so much, just as our father cared for us. And sometimes, if not all the time, we cannot understand how Srila Prabhupada and Krishna do their things, but just as you feel that you're getting so much love, affection, and care from your father, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna say, okay, we have something else for you somewhere else, let's go. And they leave us behind. I say they leave us behind because most of us cannot relate with them on a higher level. most of us can only relate on the physical level. Therefore, we say they leave us, but we know from the scriptures that they're always with us. So thank you so much for nicely representing him, being here and speaking and sharing your Gurudev's mood with us all. Thank you so much, ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu, and assembled Vaishnava devotees, and those who may be watching this live on YouTube or later on. We wish you all successful Krishna consciousness and the possibility of going back home back to Godhead in this lifetime. With that being said, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yacha, Sudhir Bacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Krishnamabhyo Namo Namaha.
Aranta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Jai, Jai.
Bhagavan Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well, the devotees